Guess I'm gonna wait till somebody comes in. Can't just start talking to myself, right? Let's see. Voila. There's no producer today either. Oh, hello, my friend. Good. At least I am not talking to myself. Hello, Pyman. Went to make myself a little coffee. And I thought I'd jump on and see who's out and about. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep track of who's out and about. Yeah, I guess that's what it should be, really. That's what the stream should be. It should just be like the silent 83. I'm in my new office, Pyman. You want to take a look? You want to see my new office? I'll show you my new office. Just for you. Oh, we'll zoom in. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe that I'm going for with this one. And then the fact that it's a very unique space in itself. My client basically built a floor in the middle of an open section of a building where naturally, like, it would be that center part of a building where you'd have the rain falling through, and then the windows would be getting sunlight from that. So she built kind of like a glass encasement, and then, you know, like if you see that right there is a glass ceiling, and this right there is a glass floor looking down. So yeah, it's pretty wild. And here I am transforming it into an Airbnb. And then up there is this giant terrace sun deck, you know? So that's basically what I've been up to in the last month, and we'll continue to do this for the next, at least the next month or two, you know, to get it ready to list and start accepting guests, accepting visitors, tourists, you know, contributing to the economy. Actually contributing. I was reading somewhere that Airbnb contributed $3 million to the Montreal economy. Because of Airbnb, Montreal generated $3 million last year extra, right? Where are all the people going to stay? Every year, the big festivals like Grand Prix and Osheaga are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's only so much. What's up, Treach? There's only so much space in the city, you know? Well, yeah, Uber is saturated. Now, don't get it twisted. This business is very saturated as well, right? I'm giving Pyman a little insight into the Airbnb hustle. Pyman, is Airbnb a thing in Australia? I'm sure it is. Do you know of anybody, or have you seen it popping up over there? It's worldwide, and so it's impossible that it's just a matter of time before everybody around the world uses it. And why does it work? Well, because any normal person, you've never used it yourself. You've never used it. You know, I've never used it myself either, but obviously I'm a host. Not only a host, I'm a super host. You know? But anyways, the idea is that anyone can take a place. Hello, third viewer. Anybody can take a place and put a couple of beds in it and put a couple of towels and stuff, but to turn it into an experience, that's a whole nother thing of its own, you know? How's that even possible? How's that even possible? I have 3 viewers and 4 thumbs up. How is that even possible? Now 2 viewers and 4 thumbs up. So that's what I really love to do, is basically see an empty room, visualizes. Okay, I get it. Okay, I see what just happened there. I really enjoy taking. So now there's. The process of taking a space, looking at it beyond what is there in its present time, kind of like my home, the one that I'm doing the renos on. I saw the potential, and 6-7 months later, I'm still working on it, right? Like, I'm almost getting ready to start gutting the kitchen, but again, too many other things to do. But back to the point, which is that once all the hard work is done in something like this, meaning establishing it. From then, it's just maintenance. And what other business model is there where you actually don't require your hourly input into it for it to operate, right? So this is why they say real estate works. You know, you have your tenants, they pay you rent every month, and you don't have to worry about it. Now this is basically real estate on crack. You know, you have multiple tenants over, you know, every couple of days, and dealing with that. It's the hotel business, right? So, and it'll never go out of style. There will always be tourists coming into the city. Yeah, I have. I mean, I have in the past. For example, my other property that I have, my own personal property in Westmount, the one with the fish tank. You got to start identifying them by their unique features. The aquarium one, at one point was booked back to back to back with maybe 1 or 2 days, with 1 or 2 days in the months like June, July, August, September. I didn't spend any time in there. And then January was really slow, so I decided to close it up for renovations, and I'm still finishing up the renovations. So that means February I didn't get any bookings, obviously, because that's not true, I did get one booking on one weekend. But short of the down season, the off season, it's booked. For the right price, it'll always get booked, you know? And my place is relatively affordable, relatively cheap compared to other things on the market. But I'm going for the unique experience aspect. Like for example, this place, when I'm done with it, it's not going to be cheap, but it's not going to be crazy expensive either. It's going to be like in between, and people that stay here will stay for the experience, right? They'll walk into this space and go, holy shit, is that a glass ceiling? Floor? Am I standing on the floor or standing on the ceiling? Both. And who cares if it's not marble top counters and stuff like that, you know? So. And then it's forever. At that point, it's just maintenance and upkeep, and people will just naturally come to you. Every time I get a booking for like 3, 4, 5 days, I'm basically on vacation, you know? Dude, this place is sick, and I'm really only just showing you a little piece right now. Here, let's do a little. Oh, this place is really too sick. So, here we go. When you come visit Treach, when you take that 8-9 hour trip, you can check it out. Yeah, it's super cool. So that right there, that's one bedroom. Right there is one bedroom. And this whole section here that I'm sitting on is basically, it's like a glass floor, and I put the carpet just to give a little bit of privacy, but the stairs goes up. You want to see the full view? All right, mofos, and whoever just tuned in, let's get the full view. So this is the upper level, the mezzanine that has all the plants. This is like a greenhouse. Stairs go out into a pretty big sun deck. And that's the dining area. Yeah. I guess you could, like, this space here is really just big enough for a little table with 2 chairs, like a little breakfast nook. But ultimately, that's the hangout section. And right there is the living room, the dining room. That's the kitchen. Bedroom 1, bedroom 2. Don't mind my pants and my jacket. It's very unprofessional. But room out. You gotta space. You gotta think about, okay, when you're sitting, what do you need next to you? You know, bedside table or end of couch table. What are they called? Pyman, help me out here. You still there? Who's buffering? You're buffering? Yo, Treach, when are we, we should set up a, Treach and 83 regular. A regular, I dropped out? I'm not a dropout, Pyman. Is it fucking 3:40 in the morning? No. Wow. It's that late, eh? So, Treach, we're gonna set up a weekly thing, you and me. I like working with you. It's fun. You do good stuff. And then we can actually talk. And we can invite Russian vids on and find out once and for all if he's a shill or not. I know what you're talking about, Pyman. Yeah. So I really didn't have much to talk about other than to say hello and give some updates. See, I don't even have a computer. Usually I'd play some music. Now all you got is this little... What's the joke? I didn't even make a joke yet. Actually, I'm not in a jokey mood these days. I'm very go. Very work-oriented. Thursdays? You want to do it on Thursdays? Thursdays wouldn't work for me. Thursday, I would rather do like a Monday or a Tuesday. You see, it's got to coincide with when I have my boy, right? And I don't have him Mondays and Tuesdays, right? So maybe the Monday Night Raw. Bring back the Monday Night Raw. Oh, there's 4 viewers now. Is that 3 Treach, 1 Pyman? Will be off, meaning off of what? Off of your job? Off of your employment? Yeah, let's make it the Monday night special or something, you know? You wanna do one tomorrow? Let's do one tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow evening. Alright, what's a good time? What's a good time? Like, what's prime time in the YouTube world? Like 8 p.m.? Is that like YouTube prime time? What's evening? What's night? Where does evening become night? Yes, you sleep during the day. Yes, yes, yes. I wish I had that pleasure. The pleasure of sleeping during the day. So let's say 7 p.m. your time, which is 8 p.m. my time. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. The treacherous establishment Monday Night Raw. But why treacherous? There's nothing treacherous about either one of us. I'm not a treacherous guy, even though they call you Treach. You're not a treacherous guy. So you get home at midnight. So we gotta have a show that's gonna run long enough for Pieman to get home and catch the end of it. Right? And we should have a topic too. I mean, we should have a specific topic. We can't just talk about fuck all. We can't just. We can't just be talking about everything and anything, right? Can we? I mean, people aren't going to tune in for that. So we should each have have a joke. Yeah, I know we can, but we're professionals. We're upgrading. We're actually trying to build something, you know? I know, me too, that's what I always do, but let's do something different. 2019, you know? 2019, let's mix it up a little bit. You know, actually have a little bit of an agenda. Now, Pieman, you can bend the spoon with your mind. Go on, bend the spoon. You will realize it is not the spoon that is bending. It is you that is shifting your head. So, I've concluded that everything is a phony fake show. Yeah, it has to be. It has to be, right? There is no spoon. Yeah. There is no spoon. The spoon is noops spelt backwards. No, it's not. It is. Spoon is noops spelt backwards, yeah. Yeah, let's do it. It'll be fun. And then we can actually talk about stuff and have a live chat going with people. So you can only live stream from your one channel, which is Treach and Wolf, correct? I believe that's what it is. I believe that's what it is. Treach Wolf, yes. So Treach and Wolf, which is another channel, has a strike already. So they're just striking you all kinds. I haven't gotten any strikes in a while. Am I doing something wrong? What am I doing wrong? So can you stream on multiple ones at the same time? Because then that way you're kind of amalgamate, or you upload a video saying tonight on this channel with a link to the channel. That's how it is, right? So I would do the same thing. I'd make a little premiere video. I would make like a really preview video, load it up and say tonight at this time, Treach. And we got to come up with a good name though. No, I'm not. There's no OBS on my side, okay? I am on my cell phone in my little terrarium here, okay? There's no OBS. There's no OBS here, okay? You're the OBS. You're the OBS Connect, all right? And then we can talk about some stuff. And Well, yeah, obviously, that's what we've been doing this whole time, no? But we need a good name. What's the name? Mad Pyman, you can join in, or whoever the fourth member of this little. What would be a good name for a Treach Renfro and established 1983 combo? 55 code. I'm gonna take a picture of this. This is cool. Oh no, lost it. I hope I caught that. Anybody? Anybody? Treach and 83. You know, I like the 83 thing. It's got 83. It's just 83. Why not, right? I like it. Somebody called me the other day on my phone, on my phone, asking for my real government name. Okay, so I said, who's calling? Excuse me. Ain't no throwing nothing around here. It says, who's calling? She says, oh, it's so and so from, she didn't say the name of the company. And then she said, is this, and then repeated the name. And I said again, I'm sorry, who are you? And she goes, again, sir, my name is, she's like had this Latina accent speaking English, right? Now, there's two people that have the phone number and the name and would call, right? One of those people is Hydro Westmount. So when Hydro Westmount calls and asks for that name, he who shall not be named, this name, I then ask, who's calling? And they would say, oh, it's Sylvie from Hydro Westmount. And myself, the living man, would then say, oh, hey, Sylvie, how are you? Yes, how can I help you? What's going on? I owe you money, right? How much do I owe you? $650. Speaking of which, I got to give those fuckers $250 tomorrow. Ugh. Anyways, whatever. Got to pay my bills, right? So Hydro Westmount is the only person that would ever call the living man and ask for that name. And the other one would be something like my child's daycare. Okay? Short of that, that name doesn't exist. So where did you get this name from? Anyways, I then flipped it on and I was like, well, who are you? You are not identifying yourself. Okay? Do you know this person? They asked me. I says, I don't know this person you are speaking of. I don't know the name. I've never heard. But who are you? Even if I did know, who are you? Why aren't you identifying yourself? So upon reflection and upon talking to other people, everybody's got a theory. Everybody's got an idea of who it could be. Collection agency, a prank call. I'm even thinking maybe it's a prank call or something. Probably a prank call. But yeah. I guess it's time to switch phone numbers. But very funny. So the answer to any question, okay? Anytime someone calls your phone, whoever it is, right? And they ask for a person. The first thing that you say, the only thing you say is, who is calling? Or if you want to be extra polite, you can say, who may I say is calling? Implying that you would be telling this person, if it isn't you, right? And then you could do the whole, just a moment. Established 1983, it's for you. It won't be long. Yeah, yes, hello, right? How would they know? They wouldn't know, right? So yeah, very fishy, very mysterious. Keeping your identity is very important. right? Maintaining your anonymity in this world, because there's a lot of crazy people out there. There are actually a lot of crazy people. People are very volatile. You never know. You don't know. One minute they could be your best friend, the next minute, you know, and your best friend, your worst enemy, you know. So you got to keep those eyes peeled, and there's no substitute for experience, obviously, right? So, Treach and 83. We're going to talk about we need a tagline. The wisdom of the ages. Something like that, right? You know what? I don't even believe that. I think that's bullshit. I think that's bullshit. This is why I think that's bullshit. If they're liars, they lie about everything, they're manipulators, they're brainwashers, and they hoax everything, they don't actually kill anybody, and that everything, they use the media to control the minds of people, well then, the concept that they are spying on everybody and that they're keeping track of everybody, then in itself must also be bullshit, right? But even if they were, like, this is the point. Why would you be wanting to go against them? Fuck them. They're going to con and deceive whoever they want to con and deceive, or whoever is willing to be conned and deceived by them. If you decide, okay, fuck it, not only is there nothing you can actually do to stop this fucking shit from going down, don't even think for a second there's a single thing you could do, because there isn't. So once you accept that resistance is futile, and you only accept that once you understand that you know how it works, how the different levels of the different aspects of life actually work. Once you understand that, and you have a bit of a fucking sense of humor about it, and you realize, wait a second, that they're actually not killing anybody, and they're actually not, and they're just deceiving. No, but like, even if, okay, even if, let's say, bring it down to like you and I, okay, and this is why for me I have no fear. You want to fucking record this shit? Record it. Fucking strippers, cocaine, Pablo Escobar, Versace, I'll say it over and over again. Fuck them. Here's the address, come on over, I'm ready. They ain't gonna come. Why? Because it's a hoax, right? Because the reality is, I ain't actually doing anything bad. And this is what it all comes down to. This is what I understand truly, is that no man has any authority over me. I have sole authority over myself, right? And I live by the only principle, law of the land, do no harm. Literally. That is my mantra. I don't, I'm not in the business of trying to hurt people or upset people or lie to people, or I don't need to do it. Been there, done that. My 20s was filled with all kinds of fuckeries that once you experience stuff and you come to a realization that only I hold my own true potential within myself, and realize that there's nothing actually stopping me from doing what I want to do, right? Yeah, in my 20s, I thought I was king shit, knew everything. In my 30s, I know, okay, I went through those experiences. I woke up at 33. I woke up in a Bugatti. At 33, I wake up and I realize, wait a second, there's a whole much more to this shit than it seems like everybody's doing. But who the fuck am I to judge? Like, who the fuck so what? Okay. If people want to live how they want to live, let them live how they want to live. You know? It's also when it's also when I had my son, and obviously having a child changes things completely and puts things into a different perspective. But with time and research and interest, it's more interest because most people don't have the pleasure of being able to get into these things, right? They're too busy living their mundane, routine lives. I don't knock it. To each his own. If that's what you want to do, it's okay. And you see how fake and superficial people are over time in relation to how they feel about people who are not part of that 9 to 5 routine, right? So, meaning for someone like myself to have full control of my time and do what I want to do when I want to do it. Yeah, but that's the thing, right? So it's not really computing. It's more like not not everybody is the same or has the same level. Woodrow, hey. How are you, Woodrow? Nice to see ya. I think I've always been an independent, entrepreneurial kind of guy, hustler at heart. From 19 on, I've maybe held 5 jobs, the longest of which was maybe 7 months, one of them, okay? And otherwise, in between, I've always hustled poker rooms, parties, DJing, whatever, selling, all kinds of stuff. I never sold drugs once in my life, but if you need a pound of weed, I know a guy who knows a guy, okay? Stuff, all kinds of stuff, like for real, from Maltesers to like heron, okay? Like I'm not even kidding. One day my boy calls me up, he's like, yo, Ricky, you know anybody that can move some H? I was like, H, eh? How much does that go for? Yeah, like, how does that work? I was like, well, I was like, well, my buddy's like, well, basically okay, hey, relax. I'm telling a story here. You're interrupting. Let me turn this chat off. Just kidding. Okay, I'll leave it on. So does anybody know how much a key of heron goes for? Anybody? Put it in the, what's the street value? Not the street value, but a key, like the market value of a key of heron. Anybody? How is it down under? Treach? What you know about the heron? All of a sudden, it's like quiet as a church Sunday up in this motherfucker. Before you were all yapping away on the chat, now I ask a question. You have no clue. You don't know anything about drugs? How about you, Pyman? You know anything about drugs? How about you, Woodrow? You still there, Woodrow? Nobody. Okay, anyways. A key of heron goes for 90K. Okay? A key of yayo goes for about 50 to 54. Okay? 1,000. Yeah. Sure. This is not an AA. This is not an AA meeting, okay? That's next week. So I'm like, yeah, okay. Let me ask my guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. Anyways, yeah, I moved to OZ's of the White Dragon. I guess that's what it is. You know? One day my buddy calls me up, he says, yo, Ricky, I have a locker filled with Dentine ice gum. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I was managing a promotion, and with 1 week left in this promotion, I got another shit ton order of cases of dentine ice. We're talking like 5 pallets of dentine ice in cases. So each case has 48 boxes. Each box has 12 packs. Each pack is basically a dollar 25 in a depanneur. So you do the maths. I was moving them at 240 a case instead of whatever it would be, like 400, 450, right? Like that. Moved $14,000 worth of gum in 2 weeks. That was fun. That's fun, you know? The hustles. But yeah, they don't teach you how to do that. So most people, the idea is you get a job, that is your income, that's all you make, and your job is usually so demanding of you that when you come home, the only thing you really feel like doing is unwinding and trying to forget, or just unwind enough so that you can then sleep, wake up, and do it all over again, right? How many people? Man, you know what? The first time I ever sold something, I sold ice popsicles. I was in grade 8 in Burma. Fuck, you just reminded me of something. I was in grade 8 in Burma, okay? And we had to raise money for a fundraiser or something. I think. Or did I make the money? Anyways, it was this one day. So I bought a whole bunch of popsicles, okay? And I sold them. Yeah, I was very, at 13, 14, I was very, you know, no, little like the Mr. Freezies. You know what the Mr. Freezies are? Like the big ones, and you can cut them in half. And anyways, they had smaller ones. You know. Later, alligator. But yeah, I think then what happens is because people are so miserable in their daily routine, they envy other people who don't have to do that and are actually happy, right? So if you're successful and you run your own business or whatever, the people around you who have to work and still are always just over broke, which is what a job is basically, just over broke. Then those people start to feel a little bit of animosity towards you, or always did in a sense, because, you know, what makes you think you're so special that you don't have to play by the rules? But that's the bottom line. You don't have to fucking play by the rules. And peaceful non-compliance is the best way to go about it. The less places you exist on paper, I'm going to give some advice, okay? Pyman, whoever's listening, this is my advice. I don't give it often, so take notes. The least number of places you could exist on paper, the better. Of course, you need a bank account, but try not to own a home. Try not to, you know, definitely don't ever have your name on a phone, ever. That's like rule number 1. I haven't had the government name on a phone in a very long time, many, many years. But that's okay. I have friends who like to sign up on phones for me. You know, I have a lot of friends. You gotta make a lot of friends. Make friends. Don't make enemies. But sometimes you gotta tell people to fuck off. Like literally. Get over it, Pyman. That shit is a hoax too. You need money. No money, no honey. Okay? It's nice. It's nice to have nice things. It's nice to be able to do what you want to do and not have to worry about, oh shit, I can't afford to do this or what. Doesn't mean you gotta go crazy, right? But either way, there's no substitute for hard work. So work hard, make money, don't rip anybody off, be good. I don't really, I make it sound so easy because I figured out a good way for me to do it, but I guess not everybody can become an Airbnb-er, right? Look at that plant. Isn't it just fucking lovely? Huh? Take a look at that shit. know what I'm saying? Live stream. What time is it? Check this out. Live streaming at 4:09. Live streaming at 4:09 with a fucking tropical plant creeping up a white wall towards a glass ceiling. I mean, not having to go to work at 9 a.m. tomorrow. How do you do it? Some would say luck. Others would say perseverance. I would say by sheer divine intervention. What do you think, Pyman? You still there? Now I'm going to ask for some audience participation. Oh, look! Oh, yes, a woman. Finally, a woman who knows a little something about spaces. Good morning, Misha. Ulekit, man. Not gonna stick around for a bit. I'll show you. You know, it's just perfect timing. So, this is my new. Just give me your opinion. This is how we live in Montreal, Misha. I know you South Africans are quite eccentric in your ways too. Hey, Misha, my parents are selling their house. Want to buy a house? You want to buy a house in Friedekloof? Do you want to buy a house in Friedekloof? I can send you the listing. Inbox me. Can I chat? Am I allowed to chat? Yeah, no, it's really cool. I'm very it's my new project. I was just oh yeah, so I was gonna show you something. So on that wall there, above the cactus, I was thinking, right there, I was thinking of putting a little TV. What do you think? Should there be a TV in this space, or would that kind of take away from the organic? Yeah, definitely not, eh? What do I do? Do I put a mirror? Do I put a mirror in that space there? On that wall, Misha? Like a nice little mirror? Shelving? Shelving? Like, the fuck we need shelving here for? Okay, for like some books? No. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. Yes, I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. What? You people are retarded. You people are retarded, okay? Hold on. I'm gonna show you exactly what we're gonna do. Very simple, very easy. Hold on. Bronze mirror. Huh? Something like that, no? Like you gotta have the beauty about mirrors. Yes, exactly. The beauty of mirrors is that they open up the space. Absolutely. Like back here, See this window frame? I'm gonna put a mirror in it, and I'm gonna hang it right above there, so it's gonna open up this whole space. You know? But yeah, it's super exciting, and I can't wait to have it ready to show you. But interior decorating is definitely something that I very much enjoy, and the fact that there are people. Bon journée, good day, Misha. And I even like Pyman, if you have a house, right? If you have a home, even transforming one room and just getting individual guests that stay a couple of days, it's very fun, you know? Like often you meet people that are very that are very lovely people. You know what I'm saying? Can you hear that? Yes, the girlfriend is in charge, eh? Can you hear that? How does it sound? So yeah, and back to how I've decided to be with. Well, it's been hail and snow all night, and so because that's basically a glass ceiling, you really hear the wind and the sound of the ice falling and the snow sliding off the thing. Very cool. Um, I like to share as much direct to the point, shocking though it may be, info to random strangers anytime. Right? So like every single cab driver that I take, I always get into a conversation with them where I'll end up telling them something like, there were no planes on 9/11 and those buildings were empty. No one died. I'm like, what? And I get into that for the next 5, 10, 15 minutes that I'm in the car with them, right? Or whatever. You know, give a Haitian driver a history lesson on Portuguese colonial history in Africa, and then tell them that independence is a hoax and no country ever was, is, or ever will be independent. It is all the property of pick your boogeyman, but it ain't you, right? So if and the reality, I guess, you know what? I'll do this. It's enough of looking at my face. The reality is that the sooner you realize that the system is the way it is, and then you're left with the choice of how you want to participate within the system. I ain't got no time to go picket or shut down some operation that's exploiting whoever, whatever, whenever. Like, what does that got to do with me, right? The crooks and the criminals and the thieves and the liars want to keep crooking and criminalizing and thieving and lying. Let them. Fuck them. Bless their souls. Right? Ultimately, expose expose the phony fake show. I'm all about that. Don't believe it? Too bad for you. Okay, you wanna believe that crazy people walk into. Here's the thing. You want to believe that crazy people walk into a school and shoot up random people? You go ahead. I will actually tell you that such and such and such on such a day was, in point of fact, a hoax. No one died, no one got hurt. The last time I told that to somebody was in regards to the one that happened here in Montreal. I'm not going to say the name, but the hint is in the description of this video. Absolutely, point of factually, I can say it straight face to anybody, forever, whoever. It was 100% fabricated, made for TV psychological operation. Conducted by who? Well, that's a whole nother story. How did they do it? That's a whole nother story. But just on face value, in point of factually, no one died, no one got hurt. And I can say that to people. I wouldn't be able to say that if I didn't know for sure, right? Um, and as much as there could be proof, everybody says, okay, where's your proof? Where's your proof? Well, what? Like, proof of what? Like, there is actually no proof, right? Like, I'm going back. Now referring back to this particular incident, September 13th, 2006. Type that into Montreal, September 13th, 2006. Certified. Tell everybody, anybody. And upon reflection, I think it makes sense how they do it. Basically, everybody's so engulfed in this cycle of life, right? Your 9 to 5, your money, your desire to have the house, the car, the whatever, the vacations, the more, that the benefits, right, the perks of working so hard and but not realizing that the real shit that goes on behind the scenes, whatever it may be, no, real shit does go on behind the scenes. It's totally not how we all imagined it to actually operate, right? Really, really. Do I have any interest in climbing the corporate ladder to join the 1%? No. Like, why would I? But like, yeah, freedom, like, you are free. This is the thing. Like, everybody wants freedom, but you are actually free when you think about it. And short of understanding that if you choose the path, like, you are free to choose the path. You can oppose the oppressor. It's not going to end up very good for you. Like, really, truly oppose. Go hard or go home. You could join the oppressor. You could aspire to be on their side, but then, you'll rot in hell or wherever in all eternity, Now, if you don't pay the taxes, then you get stigmatized and you're an evil person, because, oh my God, but really, Whose fucking business is it whether you do or you don't pay taxes? When you think about it, I pay my taxes. Like I've never. I actually got to stop telling people I don't pay my taxes and just shut the fuck up on the subject. Like taxes? Oh, let me avoid this subject. Yo, established. When's the last time you did your taxes? Oh, hey, did I tell you about the time when I knew a guy who? FYI, I'm never gonna do my taxes again. Like I will never, ever, as far as. Where you gonna go, Pyman? Don't leave Babylon. If you leave Babylon, we won't be able to hang out like this, okay? Just, you do you, boo-boo. I'ma do me, boo-boo. And we can still hang out like this. Don't leave. If you leave Babylon, where you gonna go? Everybody wants to leave Babylon. Nobody knows where they want to go. Where are you gonna go? Fuck. Come to Montreal. The final frontier, as I like to call it. But yeah, resistance is futile. Who the fuck are you gonna resist against? You just understand this is the capacity in which, these are the guidelines in which you have been given. Be smart, work hard, and make friends, not enemies. You know what I'm saying? I think them's the secrets, them's the simple rules and secrets to success. Honesty, transparency, intent. Intent is very important. If you go out, if you embark on any endeavor with ill intent, by default, it cannot succeed because the intent is not pure and positive, right? So why would you put your energy and your into something that is ill intent? So kind of like the idea of like protesting, for example, right? I'm gonna go break some fucking windows and show that I'm like, but what are you actually doing? Like really? You know? You want to protest the big corporations? Stop buying their fucking products. This is the only way. You know? Stop buying their products. And next time you talk to somebody and tell them, hey, do you know what really milk is all about? Or what the meat industry is all about? Or what, just drop little bits of information that you yourself realize over time that, if you want, I like to drop little truth bombs here and there, Oh yeah, what's that I saw you reading on your cell phone, something about climate change? Well, sir, what if a random stranger on the bus told you something as crazy as climate change is a hoax? Then you guys start there, Whoa, what are you, whoa. Anyways, some people just can't go there, right? And I then just, if they're ready, if they open up a little bit, I say stuff like, I could tell you some crazy shit. I haven't actually done a full list of, like, the full list. Hey, Pyman, since you're the only one here, do you want the full comprehensive list? This will be a throwback to... This will be a throwback to when I did one of my first videos I did on my original established 1983 channel. Is they're all a bunch of act whores, okay? And I'm gonna actually leave it in the description below, because in reflection, it'll be fun to really reflect. It's like I have no desire to change someone's mind or anything anymore, because I realize not everybody actually has the capacity to A, give a fuck, B, think about these things and give a fuck. Right? You can't force someone to give a fuck about something that they could give two fucks about, or don't believe, or would have to ultimately completely change their whole perspective of what it is to be, like, what is their own existence, right? If you are, for example, I had a friend, okay, a very dear friend of mine, that basically just had to stop hanging out with me because I was talking about like flat earth and stuff like that. I was like, what? Like, can you believe there's people out there that think that the earth is not a ball floating through space? And this was in the beginning. And soon after, she had to cut me off. Why? Well, because she's a teacher. And as a teacher, she can't really look into something that would ultimately mean the whole foundation of, like, she's a primary school teacher. Like, you have a fucking globe in every classroom. She would have it would be so fake. Like, you could not fake it. That's the thing about this. It's like a virus. It takes over you, and then you're just like, well, you can't fake shit anymore. So when I tell someone that all school shootings are a hoax, the ones that they are showing on TV are all fabricated, made for TV movies, psyops. Blank, period. Blank statement. End of sentence, okay? So now there's two people. Who's the second person? I want to know who the second person is, because I want them to know that I will be dedicating a comprehensive list of the truths. There is no truth. There are only truths. So I will do a comprehensive list of truths, okay? Mad Pyman, are you ready for my 1.5 years later? When did somebody help me out here. I want to do some, Pyman, help me out. What are you on your computer, or are you on your phone? Can you go on? No. However much longer, 3 people now. Okay, so who's the third person? Everybody's watching, nobody's contributing. Okay, so I usually start like this. This is how I do it with complete strangers, okay? I go, you want me to give you the whole breakdown? She's like, hit me hard, okay? So, okay, well, first of all, you are legally dead, lost at sea, and the Vatican owns your soul. Legally dead means that we live under what's called maritime admiral law. Okay, that is the law of the sea. Okay, now the land that we are on has actually only one law, the law of the land, which is do no harm. That is the only law of the land, period, end of sentence. Okay, but we all operate under admiralty, maritime law, the law of the sea, the pirates. And legally dead means that you as a name are a legal fiction, and you are traded on the stock market, and your name is not actually you. But we won't get into that. That's a whole nother thing. And the Vatican owns your soul because long time ago, supposedly, some pope and a bunch of other popes, they claimed land of all the earth and all the souls in it. And until someone challenges them, and no one's challenged them, they basically own you. And in point of actually, they do, because when your child is born, I know this because I'm a father, they issue you a certificate of live birth at the hospital, which then you as a parent are required to send back to the government for them to issue you a receipt, aka a birth certificate, which is basically ownership of this living creature that you have attached a fictitious strawman identity name to. Okay, we're following. And by doing this, we have therefore legally given them authority over our otherwise divine property. Right? But it's not even property because you can't own anything in point of factually. You just can't. Like, even if you buy your house and you decide, okay, I will no longer pay the property tax or the school tax or the water tax, well, then guess what happens to the house? They take the house. So therefore, do you really ever own anything? So no, you don't own nothing. Money is worthless pieces of paper simply backed by our own stupidity. And some have proposed we get rid of the money system, but that ain't gonna happen. So let's not live in this utopic kind of fairy la la land where we think, okay, yeah, one day somehow snap out of it. It ain't gonna happen, okay? The chip, the electronic money, the Bitcoin, whatever. There's no substitute for the physical person, the blood, sweat equity, which is really what it's all about, okay? And when you understand that you yourself, as the living man, not a person, because by definition, a person is a monster with no inheritable land, yada, 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 yada. Black's Law Dictionary, whatever. It's a thing, right? So that's what a person is, whereas you, the living man, are in fact accountable to none other than yourself if you abide by this law, right? So yes, be polite. Yes, be courteous. Yes, make friends. The more friends you have in this world, the further you will get along. But realize that everything is not what it seems. So this brings us to this, what's called the grand illusion, as it were. Okay, so we're going to go through history, which is basically his story. And the guy we all know as Napoleon, who some people have also claimed that is a fictitious character created out of nowhere. It's a thing, yes. Napoleon is a hoax. It's a thing. He supposedly said, history is a lie agreed upon by the victors. So now if we think about that and we just bring it back into our timeline and we talk to our parents and we talk to perhaps our own friends, our generation that have kids, and then ourselves that have kids and are going through the process of the education system. If we even just logically deduce this, okay? We were all kids. We all went to school. What are schools, by the way? Well, schools are the foundations of the system. Okay, you go to school, you get an education, you graduate, and right? But if you've lived a life and you've experienced something, you know that that's nonsense, right? And we're not going to get into that. If you've had some experience, you realize that it's nonsense. It's all like, it's just written there in the textbooks and everybody's living for this dream. But in the real world, it ain't like that, right? What is the true essence of success? Anyways, so history is a lie agreed upon by the victors. And where do you learn the history? Well, you learn it through your immediate surroundings as a child. So your family, your parents, your siblings, your uncles, and, it takes a village, right? Or the school system, whatever school system you're in. And in most cases, it's a institution. It's an institutionally governed school system, the Ministry of Education, to educate our children into line. And if you follow ABC, you will be XYZ. And if you don't, you will be anything else in a mishmash of whatever in between. So, again, the whole system. 12 years and then another 2 years or 4 and then another 5 or another, you're in there. And then you get into the whole loaning of money, right? So
You want to take a profession like nursing, for example, speaking for Quebec, you take a profession like nursing. Well, you have to do a mandatory 1 year stage of a stage is an internship of an unpaid internship for a year. Now, how are you supposed to sustain yourself and pay for life if you're not being paid for the work? Oh, no worries. The government will give you a bursary. I mean, come on. 10, 15, 20, 30,000, as much as you want. You're good for it. Of course you are. Because, you're going to come work for us, right? And then there's all the perks and the benefits, which are really not perks and benefits. They're just excuses for a bunch of people to extract. And this is what it's all about. It's about extracting, right? It is actually not a crime or against the law to not do your taxes, by the way. Okay? What are the consequences? You could get audited or blah, 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 or blah, 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 blah. Well, okay. But you want to play the game? Why? For the benefits? So you can write it off, or you can collect child support, or, the benefits. Benefits of what? Medicare? What is the medical system if not just an extension of Big Pharma and the insurance hustle? What is insurance? I mean, everything is a hustle. Everything is a hustle, right? And if you choose not to participate, you choose not to play, well, then you just got to find a way around not having to play and participate. So that's it. Now, back to his story as we know it. Everything fugazi. One by one. You ready? Pearl Harbor, fugazi. World War II, fugazi. World War II, fugazi means wars are a hoax. They are simply controlled demolition and forced migration. Now, what's forced migration? Well, when Canada accepted 25,000 refugees from Syria and the rest of the world accepted however many, what is that if not forced migration? It's called, we're accepting refugees. No. There's a reason for that. They're getting all those people out of there. So again, now, war is a hoax? What do you mean? We've seen it on TV. Well, type into YouTube, Pallywood. Pallywwood. Rest my case. Check it out. And if you think for a second, this is the issue. Okay, first things first. We'll start with the foundation. Again, we're going through the list. Okay, foundation. Everything that you know about is a lie. Basically. Okay. Because if you know about it, it's through the means in which have been created for you to know about it. And what you are being told is actually not what it is. And there's been countless of people over the ages that have shown little bits and pieces of the puzzle and come up with new ideas and new ways of deducing and pointing this out. And again, this is all about exposing the phony fake show. And there's no shame or harm in exposing the phony fake show. They're exposing it for you. And what? Someone's going to shut down my channel because even that's nonsense. Even that's nonsense, okay? Like, whatever. Don't believe me or not. Whatever. Do as you want. But continuing. So it's all fabricated for TV. So Pearl Harbor, basically every single civil rights or famous person that you ever thought was fighting for the injustices, from your Martin Luther Kings to your Malcolm X to your feminists, whoever the fuck, all controlled opposition. Okay? September 11th. JFK, hoax. Hoax. No one died. No one got hurt. The whole thing was fabricated. Okay, the people just need to understand it could not be any other way. Okay, and you could watch. I watched the fucking 3 hour movie of what was it? Everything's a rich man's trick or whatever. And today I understand why that shit exists. Of course it exists. It exists to keep everybody going on and on and on and on. But if you just accept that it's all fabricated, which it has to be because there's no other explanation for it, right? Then you can really move on and say, okay, so that was bullshit. And then everything else every single president is an act whore, period. End of sentence. There's no other way. So this leads to government. So therefore, every single government's presidents, which are all act whores, right, are being paid by real people or powers that you or I will never fucking know. So then let's forget about it. Stop voting. Don't go fucking march. Okay, because then 10 million people march around the world. That's gonna stop the U.S. forces from going into Iraq. Amounted to bupkis, ya big bobos. Why? Because it was put on by them. So we got that one. We figured that one out. Okay. Now, what else? Oh, I skipped one. The holla hoax. Yes, holla hoax. My friend tells me the other day, okay? She says, Ricky, I'd like to go to the Holocaust Museum with you. She's Jewish. I says, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Like, why? Well, because the Holocaust is a hoax. I debunked it in my own mind, just thinking about it. I didn't need David Irving to break it down. And of course, David Irving, has to be, put out there for it. It's all duality, right? It's all a fucking game. It's all a fucking joke. It's all a fucking game because ultimately there were no fucking 6 million people, John, that is why. And anybody's idea of that shit comes from a fucking movie that was outwardly told is based on a novel, which was a fucking fiction. So and they show that shit in school. Why? But whoa, don't go there. You saying, well, just think about it. Do you know how long it takes for an average human body to burn completely? 2 to 3 hours. Do you know how many bodies needed to be burned? Every hour, on the hour, for the hour, every single day? Yeah, I did the maths. It's a silly number. It's so silly it has to be ridiculous. Voila, therefore, okay, what the fuck? We're duped again. When I first stumbled on this one, I was like, no, even? What the fuck? But today I'm like, yeah, makes sense. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Absolutely. Right? And then you find out the fucking whole Israel-Palestine thing is a fucking hoax too? Oh, no. Oh, the maths don't work. You know what I'm saying? But whatever, moving on. Okay? 9/11. Just, if you logically deduce it had to be all a production. How they did it, that's where it gets interesting. It's like, wow, cool. Okay, so you got the combination of the, is it live? Are they doing, so first of all, there's no planes. First of all, there's no planes. Those buildings were empty. Though, that's done. No one died. Those buildings were empty. No one died in that whole thing. Absolutely, absolutely, because all of it is a production. Okay, so absolutely no one dies. It was a fire drill. Everybody who was working, and there were progressively less and less people who were actually working in that building after the first dry run, which was the 92 or something, and the little smoke bomb scare that they did in the basement, right? Of course, they're gonna play it off to be a lot more than it was, but what it was a fucking smoke bomb, probably, right? And a little pop or whatever, and this is how you know. This is how you know. They tell you there was supposedly 50,000 people that were still working in those two buildings, right? And there's not a single footage of anybody coming out of those fucking buildings. minus 3,000. So there should be 47,000 people, footage of 47,000 people coming out of never. So this is what you have to understand. It's all a fucking production. Okay? And tons of people have done good work on this. So it's not an argument, it's not a debate. With all due respect, you are wrong. There were no planes. Osama bin Laden was a fiction created out of fucking thin air. All of it. You fucking believe it because you saw it on CNN. And if you believe it, then you're fucking retarded. At this point in the game, you're fucking retarded. With all due respect. Actually. But whatever. I don't call people retards anymore. I just tell them straight up. Dinosaurs never existed. Naturally. Just think about it. Never heard about it? Go fucking do some research on it. Stop talking. Go do some research. NASA, all that shit, 100% certified. Not an argument, not a debate. Con you straight in your face. Hoax. You want to believe it? Bless your heart. Go buy a $36 t-shirt from Simon's with the NASA logo. You don't believe in this stuff? Well, it's not about belief. It's knowing that it's fugazi. That's two very different things, okay? Knowing absolutely. Knowing absolutely is fugazi, okay? What do you mean nobody goes into schools and shoots them up? Okay, well, let's bring it back to our home base here in MTL, okay? Guess how much security footage there was of that incident? Oh, you guessed correctly. None. Zero, zilch, nada. Why? Because it never happened. Okay? Period. Now, go do some research on that one. How insensitive are you? No. It's not about being insensitive. It's about knowing how it works. Okay? And perhaps now that I've told you this, next time when you watch this nonsense, because that's what it is, you know, it's 0%. That's what it is. What is the news? The news is there to send you in all four directions. North, east, west, south, wherever the fuck. All over the place. Where do you want to go? And now you get news everywhere. You get news on YouTube. You get news on Facebook. You get news on it. News is everywhere. Everybody's sending you in all four directions. Where do you want to go? So this is where it all ties back to the silver lining of all this. You know what the fucking silver lining of all this is? AIDS is a fucking hoax. Okay? Vaccines are a fucking hoax. Don't ever vaccinate your child if you ever have one. Okay? What else? Nukes are a fucking hoax. Nukes don't exist. What about Hiroshima? Do some research on it. Okay? I'm not making this shit up. It is what it is. Accept it or not, that's your business. That's how I talk to people now. Okay? Don't vote because politics are a hoax. Look at it like this. It's two wings on the same bird. Right? Are you into Hillary or are you into Donald? They're both act whores. So what does it matter? Okay? Period. Like, this isn't even like old. This isn't even new news. Like, it's been like this since the dawn of time. Why wouldn't it be any other? Why would it be any other way? Now, how do you protect your children? You protect your children by educating your children and bringing them up with an understanding that A, they have the ultimate potential to do everything and anything their heart desires, and that it's our responsibility to guide them. So we are responsible. I am responsible for guiding my child through these treacherous waters, so to speak. But they ain't so fucking treacherous. Because if I don't believe and I know that the shit that they're telling us is bullshit, then why would I relay that to my child? I'm not going to instill that bullshit into my child and with fear, and I'm going to guide him in a way to deal with this stuff. So it's one sentient being at a time, and our circle of influence our sphere of influence is ultimately the only reach that we have, ultimately, right? And that perhaps before we start pointing the finger at whoever the fuck and calling out names, we should start and ask ourselves some basic questions like, what is my intent? Why do I wake up in the morning? What am I doing all this for? Right? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do a little musical interlude and yeah, I know. Those are the consequences of the reality. However, there are many people who are doing it successfully. I know many people who have opted out of that one and are doing just fine. And there's a growing number of people that are becoming more and more aware of that particular hoax, the vaccine hoax. Vaccines are a crime against humanity. Period. End of sentence. It's not an argument. It's not a debate. Because the same people that are telling you that it's there to protect you are liars. And you know that they lie about something, so what makes you think they don't lie about everything? The whole system is based on lies and deception and manipulation and control. So what are you going to do? You're going to fight it? I'm going to go picket in front of the vaccine company? No. Right? I have a duty to my own self and the people around me to guide. Of course. And there are people who are going to do that, and there are ways to do that, and there are ways to building awareness about all of these things. Right? I'm all about the covert individual one-on-one, because you realize that the big outreach ultimately is co-opted, is ultimately run by the same people that are giving you the oppression, are giving you the liberation. So it's like, okay, I wanted to take a 2-minute break, okay? BRB. And the extra silver lining is that the end of days isn't coming, ya big bobo. Oh yeah, I forgot. Religion is a hoax too. So whatever religion you ever thought you think you were or are or whatever is a lie. Period. End of sentence. Why? Because it just is. Has to be. Not to be confused with one's absolute relation to the Creator, the Divine. Absolutely. There has to be. I mean, there's no, like, even calling yourself such a ridiculous thing as an atheist, like the very fact that you would utter those words, I am an atheist, debunks that nonsensical statement in itself. So what I like to tell people is the day you learn, you stop resisting, you will live a glorious life. And the beauty of it all, when you understand it, because it breaks it down to something so simple, is that ultimately you are in control of your self. Absolutely. You are the spark within. You are the center of the universe, period. End of sentence. Without you, there is nothing else. And so, do you choose to continue living this existence oblivious to the beauties and the wonders of this space? Or do you want to start opening your eyes to see? You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Oh yeah, so you want to know what happens when you die? Well, what happens when you die is your soul is sucked out of your physical cadaver at that point, right? Because what is a body without a soul, right? And it gets sucked and stored in the moon until there is another womb ready to receive you, right? And you are implanted in that other sentient being to live out that sentient being's lifespan, at which point it will die too, and so on and forever, eternally. And the only way to break out of the cycle, if you're interested, some people are into it, is to drink from the living waters at the center of the flat earth plane where all compasses point to. That is north. Yeah, that's a thing too. Yeah. Let me get my coffee.
Au 99,5 Radio Classique Montréal. Aussi partout sur la planète à radioclassique.ca.
So then, some people will tell me stuff like, so if you're saying everything is a lie, what is real? I say, well, you and me are real. We're actually here, right? So how can we enhance this experience? How can we make it better for ourselves? And we'll discover through experience that making things better for other people, in essence, makes things better for ourselves, right? You get along better with friends than you do with enemies. So just naturally, these things start to make sense. So if you are constantly a negative, bitter person, you're going to have negative, bitter attitudes and vibes around you. So again, the only change can only come from within. And until you're ready to change yourself, things will never change, right? So what do you change about yourself? Well, for starters, this whole thing about, this one is touchy. I touched on this with some random guy. He seemed like a homeless guy, actually. Not all there. I bought a cigarette from him for 50 cents, okay? And I started telling him, well, for example, he said, oh, I need to eat more. I need to eat more meat because I'm getting thin. I'm like, well, first of all, that's a lie. The human body is not designed to consume meat. And I used to think like you. Hey, how are you, mister? I used to think exactly like you. However, I realized that we just shouldn't consume the flesh of other sentient beings and other animals. However, we were all taught, we were all trained, we were all raised this way. But so what? Just because it is doesn't mean it should be. Period. End of sentence. It's not an argument, it's not a debate, right? And the day you realize that you can, in fact, go through this life experience without consuming the pain and suffering of another creature, which is ultimately what it is. This is why it is absolute. It's not an argument, it's not a debate, it's not a psyop, it's not, oh, the vegan psyop and all this stuff. Like, it just makes natural sense. And there's billions of people, supposedly, that is also a hoax, apparently. That one is one of those unknowable things. There's psyops and then there's common sense. If you just think about it, it's just common sense. And try it. Especially with this one. With this one, it's kind of like a no-brainer. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and judge you for eating that delicious steak. A year ago or 2 years ago, I was enjoying that delicious steak. Or I can still tell you that duck is amazing, and that lamb with a little bit of lime and some salt and pepper. I mean, my mouth's watering just thinking about it. But it's a choice that I've taken and will continue to take, to not consume that. Why? Because I don't want to put that into my body, What about milk and eggs and cheese and butter? Well, no milk, not even in coffee, no cream, obviously, but no eggs. But I still eat pastries. And hey, a Boston cream is still the most delicious thing. Did you? Good for you, man. There you go. It's never too late. And don't you feel great? And people say, yo, man, what do you eat? And you're like, just that idea in itself of what do you eat? Like, what do you mean, what do I eat? I just don't eat the flesh of another animal. I eat everything else. If it has legs and it breathes or flies and makes sounds, I don't eat it. But in my vegetarianism, I have thought about, like, okay, the argument that because we're not designed to chase down the gazelle and bite into it with our teeth, and we cannot eat that. But what about things like ants or like insects or eggs of insects, right? Or eggs, right? Like, what is? I'm still trying to get to the bottom of, like, chicken eggs. Is every egg a chicken lays going to become a chicken? I think so, right? I think that's how it works. An egg-laying chicken. Anybody know about this? Anybody knows about chicken egg production? Who can help me out with this? What's the official verdict on chickens? But yeah, I don't eat eggs. Well, I love cheese. It will if it's hatched. So, when a chicken lays an egg, if it isn't for the egg farmer to come and take the egg out that chicken will remain to sit on the egg, and it will lay other eggs, and it will sit on them, and then they will become. Okay, but hold on. This is the thing. This is the discrepancy that I'm not too sure. Because, so, why is the chicken laying the egg then, if it's not going to be a chicken? Right? Because in the factory, they artificially inseminate them. Right? They grab them, you stuff this tube down their pum pum, and they boom. And that's how they keep producing eggs. Right? Now, I've heard that from people who have raised chickens that they never had a rooster around, and the chickens were still laying eggs, and they were picking them every morning and eating them, right? So now my question is those eggs that those chickens are laying, had the person not picked them up, would they become chickens? And if they didn't, why would the chicken lay it? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? You know what I'm saying? Like, the egg is the chicken, right? By default, right? If I'm understanding this correctly, and I think this is the fallacy, this is the misconception that people have about chicken eggs. I know, I don't know for a fact. I gotta find this out, but just logic itself would deduce that every egg laid will unless otherwise stopped from become a chicken. I mean, makes sense, right? Can someone take 2 minutes to get the... No, please, someone really, like, there's 4 people watching this, supposedly. I'm gonna go make myself another sandwich with some toast, with some blueberry. Like, I actually want to know. I want to know what the official verdict is this, because I watched one of those PSYOP vegan shilling for veganism channels, and they did an expose on how chicken production works, right? In my early days on YouTube, I was mesmerized by the quick editing and the slick, sexy young chick. Could be an M to F, before I even knew what the M to Fs are. Oh yeah, and by the way, back on the thing, every single celebrity you ever thought of, every single actor is an M to F or F to M, okay? All of them. This is just how it is. Deal with it. And it makes sense, because if history is to tell us the truth, they said that men originally played all the parts of women. So it's never changed. You know? The more things change, the more they stay the same, or things never change. They just appear to be different. Right? If you think about it. Of course, why wouldn't they be? Right? Even Joan Rivers herself is a tranny. Of course. And then, yeah, dinosaurs. Like, okay, here we go. I mean, if you want to argue or debate about it, go ahead, argue or debate. I pointed out, point of factually, 100% a hoax. And you know what? We could argue till the cows come home on this. It changes nothing. Actually. My toast is important right now. Hey, you Shannon?
So, which came first, the chicken or the egg? What's the verdict on that? You know, I'll answer that question. I don't have to. I don't have to, I don't want to, I don't need to. Right? Because ultimately, he changes nothing. And you know what? On this subject, it's an unknowable thing, period. End of sentence. The true shape of the earth is an unknowable thing. So while people want to go back and forth and try to debunk or debate or whatever, it's nonsensical. It's a waste of time, which is why it was released in the first place. But I'm glad it was released because that in itself was the catalyst to make you realize that it's all a fucking hoax. All of it. Right? And you're always gonna get two sides of the fucking story. Always. And you decide which one you want to argue or debate or fight for or appeal to. Whatever appeals to your sensibilities. Take your pick. Take your pick. You know? Truth hidden in plain sight. Lies with big fake smiles, you know? That's what it is. It has to be. And again, loose cannon, this one's for you. You decide which side of the fence you want to play on. Take a pick. But don't waste your time. Because everybody's fucking wasting their time. Everybody needs to chill the fuck out, stop wasting your own time, and do something. You know? Ultimately, even good or bad, just do fucking something. Do something. No? I think ultimately you do have to pick a side. And if it can be deduced as something so simple as good and evil, well then we'll do that. Good versus evil. No? There is good absolutely and there is evil absolutely. So, and everything else in between. But the beauty of realizing that it's all a phony fake show is that it alleviates you of the fears that you thought you were justifiable before. Because those fears are no longer justifiable. Some crazy redhead lunatic is gonna blow us all up with a red button? No, fake. Okay. Phew. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Oh, Russia's not gonna nuke us because actually they're all friends and they've always been friends. Yeah, okay. You know, I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, it makes sense, I guess. So, phew, I don't have to worry about that, you know? Stop eating processed foods and, you know, don't give the government my money. Yeah, okay. How? My Chinese mover guy won't even accept an email money transfer because he thinks the government's gonna track it. Anyways, I say I'm just the vessel, okay? I didn't make any of this shit up. I used to think just like you before, like 2, 3, 4 years ago, whatever it was. I never once heard of any of this shit, and now here I am telling you, yep, it's all a fucking Nelson. It's all a fucking phony fake show.
Even Nelson Mandela. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Take your pick, all of them. Che Guevara, even fucking Pablo Escobar. I was thinking about Pablo Escobar. I'm like, of course it's a fucking hoax. It has to be. All part of the world stage. Right? Right? Oh, coffee break. Well, again, obviously it has to be. I mean, like, everything that comes out of it by default, by definition, is. So we know all this stuff, you know? But then every once in a while, someone will say something like, but now JFK was really assassinated. Hey, Misha, yeah, what are your thoughts on Mandela, right? Like, obviously being from there, right? You are of an age when you can recount a personal observation of the sentiments of the time, right? Basically, yes, loose cannon. I covered that one a little bit earlier on, yes. But yeah, oh my God, you tell people Nelson Mandela was a fucking hoax, that people will lose their shit. Right, Minka? Hey. Well, I mean, that, okay, so yeah, all that stuff, exactly. But here's the thing, right? Even right now, 15 mil of whom died? Like, I've never really questioned my father on apartheid South. Okay. Yeah, of course. 15, whatever. You know, people can, like, it's sick. It's actually sick that people believe this shit. And once you tell them, this is why we have to do a duty to people and tell them, listen, no, you have been misguided. I used to think that. I mean, I know it may upset people, but it's actually sick for you to think that human beings would actually go ahead with doing that. Like, that's what I want to understand, right? Like, if it's all a hoax, like if it's all a phony fake show, the rest of the world is only being told what the rest of the world is being told, whereas inside, yeah, it's like, it's just the way things are, right? You could call it whatever you want. This is just the way things are. And I don't know. I like to believe, like, if someone tells you, okay, no, people don't go into schools and shoot up kids. Like that girl that died in Montreal, supposedly never existed, is a complete fictitious character created for the whole operation. Why? Yada, yada, yada. But for you to want to fight against that and say, okay, no, it was real, is actually pretty fucking sick. Like, somebody here is telling you, no, it's okay. It's like they're actually laughing at us when they put these things out. When they tell you that, you know, a gay dude went into a gay club and shot up 47 gay dudes, other gay dudes, right? Like, that's their way of, like, mind fucking us. They're just mind fucking us. So it's like, what? You don't believe? Like, Well, you believe? Like, that's sick. Especially because I'm here telling you no one died, no one got hurt. So you still want to believe the other one? And no, I didn't make this shit up. So obvious. All right? And once you see one, you see them all. Because they all are. It's not like 90% or 80%. You go back on all of it. I was thinking, you know what I was thinking about the other day? I was thinking about the trunk killer, like sniper, the trunk sniper. Okay? And they had the drawings of the car and how the car was configured, and you know, like, and there's all this information out there, you know? So when you just after the fact you reflect, you go, yeah, of course that fucking shit was fabricated. Why wouldn't it be? Like, you know, the guy at the Black Lives Matter rally, the veteran who like got cornered off, and they sent the robot that blew him up, and that was it. He disappeared, and it's like, oh boy. You know, so this is it. This is it. You must first unlearn everything you've ever learned to learn it all again. You have to. There's no other way about it, okay? Everything you think you know, you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know you don't know. So let's meet up again on the first Tuesday of every month. We'll catch up. Any questions? And it ain't so fucking gloomy. Because if you go outside and you know, just relax. Just relax. It's fun. It's fun. Is it mostly BS or is it all, you know? Well, is it a prediction or is it a promise? Is it a to-do list? Right? Is it a prediction if it then happens exactly like that? No, it's like, okay, here we go. And there's more. And there's gonna be more. I mean, if they've planned 100 years prior to now, then they've planned the next 100 years. So, like, just ride with it and maximize the time that you have. This is where it all boils down to, you know? Let the debunkers do the debunking. Watch, learn, apply, and teach and carry on. Well, I mean, it's just one leads to the other. You know, one leads to the other. Where are you from, loose cannon? What part of the globe do you hail? Which hemisphere? Which quadrant of the empire? But yeah, for sure, a lot of places have it way better off than others, and I think I am very cool. I think I'm very part of the Commonwealth, eh? I'm very lucky to be part of the Commonwealth here in Canada. I feel very free, very privileged. And now I will just continue to explore all the options, you know what I'm saying? Scotland, the home of Mel Gibson. Okay, I guess it's too late and I can't pull the Sean Connery accent. What time is it? Wow. Pretty soon the sun's gonna come up. But so yeah, be that as it may, it ain't so gloomy. So, you know, pucker up. Everything's gonna be okay. Keep calm, carry on, open your eyes. and don't ever vaccinate your children again. And that's the only thing you can do. Or circumcision. I was thinking about circumcision again the other day with a friend, and really understood how I am not aware. I'm not familiar with that. I don't follow the teams. I don't know what the teams are. Uh, how's who going with what? What was I talking about? I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, the vax. Well, you see, okay, yeah, I was talking about vax, and my next encounter with that vax hurdle will be in a few years when my little guy has to go in for another round, and that's definitely not gonna happen if I have anything to do with it. So I got some time to ease my better half into the idea that everything is gonna be okay just as is, and there is more reasons to not than, I mean, there's no reasons to, first of all, but not everybody is as awake. But I was reflecting on circumcision. Wow. Listen. Absolutely. We know that. We know that, but very few people know that, and slowly but surely more awareness is being brought to this very, very significant issue, you know? But yeah, circumcision is fucking sick. It's fucking sick. It's actually child abuse. Period. End of sentence. So, yeah, don't ever circumcise your child. And this is coming from someone who happens to have had the practice performed on him against my own desire or will. And that's the thing. It's against some. So, if we all live by the one law of the land, here's a recap. There's only one law on this land, which is do no harm. If we all live by that law, then we will all live a glorious life. But because there are people, there are powers out there that have taken it upon themselves to do harm onto others for the benefit and the progression of themselves, is the reason we are in this situation. So pick your path, you know? Going back to news, north, east, west. What is T-door again? I don't know what all this T-door. That's it, right? Like, circumcision is fucked up. Really, when you think about it, you are removing something off of a human being that has not given you the permission to do that. Like, ultimately, that's what that is, right? You are and causing an excruciating amount of pain to that individual. Like, how sick is that? Oh yeah, here's the thing that's floating around. You can tell people this. You can say, you're so satanically sick you don't even know about it. AML. Hey, AML. Are you with us? Just released the video. So you tell him, yeah, you are so satanically sick you don't even know it. But too late will be the cry when the foreskin has been snipped and says goodbye. So at least I know I will not have to ever deal with the guilt, because that's the one thing, okay? This is where I was comparing vaccines to circumcision, right? It's like, had I not
Sure, all kinds of crazy stuff, right? Um, had I not been awoken to the sickness of circumcision prior to having a child, a son no less, I perhaps would have circumcised my child, right? Like, and so who knows? Maybe I would never have come to the realization that, in point of fact, it is sick to do such a horrific act to another human being, both ways. And I met a girl the other day from Ghana. I was talking to this girl from Ghana, and I noticed she had a cut on her face. And I know that a lot of tribal traditions around the world do face markings as a way of identifying their own members of their own villages or whatever. For example, I was with a chick, a Moroccan girl who was part Berber, and a lot of Berber women would have face tattoos, just little dots and stuff like that, and little patterns, and each one would essentially identify the village from which they came, because supposedly in the olden days people would come to the village and steal their women, right? So face marking. So if you ever see very dark skinned people with cuts, usually cut scars on the cheeks or whatever around here, those are tribal markings. So it's like, oh, okay, they still do that, right? And what about female circumcision, right? And she's like, yep, where I come from, they actually do female circumcision still. And I was very lucky, she was telling me. I was spared. But my sister, unfortunately, who's a little bit older than me, was not spared. And to this day, she has all kinds of complications with birth. It's like it's all fucked up down there. So it's just like, fuck. There are people out there who, for one reason or another, have been convinced that mutilating and cutting off a part of the human body is okay. And then we could even go as far as like piercing your child's ears, in essence, would be an assault on their bodily person. Period. Like, you know? Like, just all of it, right? Like, you have no, like, this isn't your property to do as you wish. You're gonna go tattoo, right? But some people, anyways, that's why anything goes, and life is a mystery, and all the things that happen, happen. And if you're fortunate enough to have not had such misfortunes bestowed upon you, then count them as blessings and make the most out of the time that we have. You know? That's it. So, any other thoughts? Why is now it looks like a well, it ain't really a rabbit hole. It's all very simple, okay? Do no harm. So chopping off the most sensitive part of the male's body, the tip of the peepee, is painful. There you go. So I'm happy to see a few familiar faces and some new faces. But yeah, this is where I'm at right now in a nutshell. And between the Airbnb hustle and daddy life, I'm definitely keeping myself busy. You know what I'm saying? So on that note, in that tone, I'm gonna say bonsoir, good evening. Give everybody a last little tour of my office at the moment. And yes. Oh, thank you, Loose Cannon. Well, it's nice to see you, nice to meet you. But yeah, these are all these are all these are very interesting subjects that I've spent a lot of time listening to other people explore. And it's by Misha, and it's by listening to other people's ideas on ultimately what is basically ideas, right? I mean, we're just talking about ideas, but where are the absolutes in any of it, right? I'll never know, right? So, like all ideas, oh, that's cool. Like my Tiffany lamp, okay. Full disclosure, it's not a real Tiffany lamp. It's an imitation Tiffany lamp, but it's still very cool. Stained glass is just lovely. So, MCM, Mad Pyman, Misha, Rockno, Loose Cannon. Thank you all for hanging with me. It's been fun. At least I wasn't talking to myself. And I look forward to doing this again soon. If I get my computer up and running, there will be music as well. Cool? So, till next time, at the 2:19 mark, 2 hours and 19 minutes, that's a decent amount of time to talk about a little bit of everything. And maybe one more spliff and then I'm off to bed. So, till next time, from everybody here at the establishment, at the mark. Oh, almost lost my connection there. Bonsoir. Good day. À la prochaine. You know, 2 hours, 20 minutes, and 22 seconds. That's what I'm doing.